I'm Matt with etrailer. Today we actually have Genesis Revive with us today. Thanks for stopping by, Alex.
Thanks for having me.
And we actually have the unique opportunity to have him here for some training so we can learn a little bit more about this product and how to install it in our applications. But before we jump into that, tell us a little bit about you guys.
Great, yeah, so I work for Genesis Products, and Genesis has been a company for just about 25 years. And we basically do anything interior that is laminated or decorative. So anything from wall boards to ceiling boards, cabinetry, countertops, sliding doors, anything in an RV that is a laminate or just decorative, we do. Now, Revive specifically is the aftermarket. So we're taking the same RV grade, high quality products that we produce for OEMs, all of our OEM partners, and now we're making it applicable for the aftermarket, for end users and dealers and service teams to be able to apply to units to help people fall in love with their RVs again.
Oh yeah, and I've only had my hands on your stuff for a little bit, and I could tell like just the thickness of the material. This is some quality stuff. And I know today we're going to be putting on some wall boards, but this is going to be the same process for your cabinets or your ceilings, right?
Yeah, so it's literally just a peel and stick vinyl, or let's call it a film, because that's what it is, but it's a peel and stick film that is going to stick over your wall board, your ceiling boards, or your cabinets. With cabinets, obviously you want to be a little bit more picky and choosy with what you're doing with the design. A slab or a shaker would be best. But with wall boards and ceilings, you just want to make sure that you clean it up a little bit and you prepare your space and then you overlay it.
Awesome. Well, with that said, let's get into it.
So your wallboard kits are going to come with your roll, your matching seam tape. You're going to have a spray bottle. It'll come empty because you can fill this up with warm, mild, soapy water to help clean the surface. You'll have a microfiber cloth, and then you'll also have a 3-inch putty knife. Now, something that is needed to install this most of the time is sandpaper. It's not included, and no knives are included in this either, which you will need a utility knife to install.
So there's going to be a lot that comes with our kit. I'm assuming most of that's for kind of prepping that surface. So what are some things to consider when you are prepping that surface?
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to make sure that the surface is super clean. You don't want dust. You don't want anything protruding through because then that could cause air bubbles. No. So on this surface, obviously it's nice and clean already. We would just spray it down, maybe mist it a little bit with, again, warm, mild, soapy water, and then I would just wipe this down. Now, let's say that we had a wall board that had some delamination with the film. We would want to make sure that we peeled that off and then gave it a light sand over it and then did that process where we just cleaned it.
That makes perfect sense.
And then it's as simple as just overlaying just how, or cleaning just how we did, and then just peeling and sticking and overlaying.
Awesome. I can't wait to see that process.
Great. So it's always going to be easiest if you unroll your roll and walk it up the wall like this. Now, what I like to do here is I like to make sure that when I'm taking my Revive off, which you can see here, this is the sticky side, this is the backer, I like to make sure that I pull tight from left to right so that I'm able to make a straight line, or as straight as I can possibly do. So my hands are on the sticky part now, and I'm pinching this, as you can see, the backer. I'm making my initial stick, which is very important. I should probably get the backer to come down a little bit more. And I'm making my stick from left to right here. So I'm making sure that I have my area good. I'm going to start moving this down. I'll grab my 3-inch putty knife here, and I want to make sure that this is my initial stick is exactly how I want it to go. Now, with my dominant hand or whatever you're more comfortable with, I am going to start using the putty knife to work the material down. And there's no need to really fear here, because let's say that I make a mistake just like this, where there's a bubble or there's a little crease, or even if I just don't like the way that I stuck it. Revive is super easy to work with. You can unstick it, and then re-stick it.
Nice.
So it's as easy as that. Now, we'll work down.
So with that process too, a lot of times if I'm taking something off, putting it back on, I'm usually going to crinkle it up a little bit. And It's going to kind of messy.
Yeah.
How does this really handle that? Can you get those creases out?
Yeah, absolutely. So while I did that, it actually crinkled up here a little bit that you're not able to really see. And I'll even show you what that looks like. So let's say that I crinkle this, where in most of the times, if you're laying a vinyl down with a car, or if you're working with vinyl, that'd be ruined. But we're going to be able to work through those. And what's nice about Revive as well is that it's going to naturally want to lay flat. So I'm going to work through those creases and show you just how easy it is for them to disappear. As I'm doing this, again, I'm working down and I'm pulling this backer as I'm going. So I'm trying to keep the backer as close to where I'm actually putting pressure on as possible. I'm just working through. So we're going right through those creases right now that I just made as I folded it. And as I'm doing this, I want to make sure that if there's any air bubbles, I don't really see any right now, but if there's any air bubbles, I want to make sure that I'm pushing them out to the nearest threshold, so to the nearest edge. So I'm working the air bubbles out, and I'm able to really make sure that the wall looks exactly how I want it to look.
Yeah, then that's looking really clean. Even running my hand over that, that's really smooth. Now, another question is, you put this up, I walk away, maybe grab some lunch, I come back, and I'm like, that's not how I want it to look.
Yeah.
Can I, because I saw you remove it earlier.
Yeah.
Is it going to stick more over time, or is it going to be, how's that going to work?
Great question. So after 72 hours, our adhesive becomes permanent. It's when it's cured. Okay. So no heat, moisture, so no humidity, no coldness, no movement is really going to affect it. Now, if you go to lunch and you want to pull this off because you don't really like the way that it looks, you can absolutely do so because you still, even at 72 hours, you're going to be able to yank it off, but more than likely it's just going to bring something, the film that you're overlaying it to, with it. But right now, if I wanted to be able to use this piece that I already have overlaid, where the adhesive is already touching the sidewall, I would have a good hour to be able to remove it and move back. You want to make sure that when you're doing that, though, and again, it goes back to why it's so important to clean the wall beforehand. You want to make sure that if you do that you're not bringing wood up with it or film up with it, because then that part is just not tacky anymore.
So with this type of surface we have right now, like you said, it's a little bit of a cleaner surface, no imperfections. But what happens when you do have that wall that maybe you hung something on the wall, you put a hole in it for whatever reason? How does it handle that? Great
question. So you want to make sure that when you're overlaying Revive that the wall is actually ready for it, right? Yeah. So in the case of water damage where there's rot or that you need a new panel, you don't want to overlay that.
Yeah.
But anything that has stains, scratches, or just imperfections in general, Revive works perfectly for that. So let's say that there's some film that is delaminated, or that it's bubbling, or it's even torn off a little bit. What you would want to do is you would just want to tear the film until it doesn't tear anymore. And then take sandpaper and lightly sand it to make it as smooth as possible, although Revive will lay over that, even if it's not perfectly flat, and it'll hide that really well.
Okay.
Let's say that someone has hung a picture up and there's a hole in the wall, or there's just a crack, or whatever that may look like. Maybe put some putty in there. Again, not no oil in the putty. Let that dry and overlay, and you'll be completely fine.
That's good to know. So that's pretty much it when it comes to putting this on. So what are some other commonly asked questions you guys get a lot?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the most important things that I want to make sure that everyone understands is that when you're cleaning the wall and when you're working with Revive, you want to make sure that you're staying away from citrus-based cleaners or anything that has oil in it, oil-based cleaners as well. So you want to be very picky and choosy with what you're using. Just an isotropic alcohol would be perfect to clean the wall with.
Okay, good, good. That's great to know.
And then another thing that a lot of people tend to ask is how much Revive to buy? Well, ultimately that's going to be up to how much you want to use in your coach, how much you want to change in your coach. But a 50-foot Revive kit is going to cover 100 square feet, or about 3 full-size panels that are untouched.
Okay.
A 100-foot Revive kit is going to cover up to 200 square foot, and again, that's going to be right about 6 full panels. And then we have our service kits that cover up to 12 full panels as well.
Okay, yeah, that's great to know. Now, kind of leading off of that, if you are going to be buying those larger kits, that's going to take a long time to put all that up. Even though this is an easier process, but if you have any like sliders or any curved surfaces, those are going to be a little more difficult to handle, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of to touch base on timing on just installs, right? So we have some technical pros, some like Revive Tech pros, that they can do a full wallboard in less than 10 minutes.
Wow.
Now, someone that's like me, it might take me a little bit longer because I want to make sure that I'm not working with the material as much as the people that are in the bays every single day.
Yeah.
As for overlaying on different surfaces or tough surfaces, for instance, our ceiling kit, you don't want to overlay that on a soft touch surface. So you want to make sure that that's an actual ceiling board that's your luan or your wood with the film on it, or the A side of the panel. When it comes to the curves or the curvatures of let's call it maybe your closets or your bed, like your bed, the headboard of your bed, the curves. You want to make sure that you're sticking from top and you're working inch by inch all the way down. And if you start to see that it's bubbling on that contour a little bit, you could always cheat a little bit and put some extra adhesive on the backside.
Okay, nice. Well, and that kind of leads me into now if you guys find that you just don't have enough time to do a larger project like that, or you don't feel comfortable on any curved surfaces, maybe in your RV, you can actually check out our dealer network on our website, and we can get you in touch with someone who can install it for you. But that'll do it. Thanks for stopping by, Alex.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me today.
It was great. And if you guys have any other questions, please let us know here at eTrailer. Again, I'm Matt, and thanks for watching.